Even though there's not nearly as much drama as in recent years heading into this regular season for the Pittsburgh Steelers, there's still tons of debate amongst fans and media. And for this episode of Mic Drop here on Pittsburgh Sports Live, brought to you by the signs behind me, Beaver County Auto, and SteelersNow.com, I am your host, Mike Asti, and I'm here to kind of give my take on one of these debates that's maybe not so important right now to you, although it's going to be as the season progresses, but definitely important to the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that is, well, a quarterback controversy, a quarterback debate for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And no, of course, Ben Roethlisberger is going to be the starter. Of course, Ben Roethlisberger is a future Hall of Famer. And actually, on the heels of the very sad and somber situation around the Pittsburgh Steelers right now with the passing of wide receivers coach Darryl Drake, Ben has actually shown even more leadership than maybe we've seen him in years. And not to say he's not been a leader and done it behind the scenes, but we know Ben throws those subtle jabs to the media when he's trying to criticize somebody or kind of gives that I don't give a you-know-what attitude now, knowing how veteran he is, knowing how he's the elder statesman with rings on his finger in this locker room. But he's kind of now silenced some of those critics. He's been such a leader. Look at iconic images now that are up there throughout the national wire by one of the greatest photogs that we use, actually, with Steelers Now and Ed Thompson around this market on Ben showing that leadership. And Ben, 5,000-plus passing yards last year. TDs are always there. The interceptions were there, and that needs to change. Ben needs to be more efficient. I've talked about that on past shows. He needs to be better and needs to be more efficient for this team to get back to the playoffs and for them to win and have a chance at another championship. Absolutely, he needs to be better. I do believe with AB actually being gone, and even though that obviously hurts you, as he's one of the greatest receivers in NFL history, it actually might help Ben be more efficient in terms of not having to worry about giving AB his touches, not having to worry about somebody flipping out to him on the sidelines, not have to worry about fitting the ball for somebody, and even not having the confidence that somebody maybe is going to be there when maybe you shouldn't have that overconfidence in somebody fitting into the spots on double coverage. So James Washington, Moncrief, Washington look good in the top preseason game. If they step up, it'll help Juju, it'll help Ben. I think he'll be more efficient. But there's still a controversy. We know Ben's going to miss a couple games. Okay, Ben misses a couple games almost every single season. What are you going to do then? Josh Dobbs or Mason Rudolph? That's kind of where this boils down, where one of these two guys is going to be that next option. They're now kind of competing. They've been competing all offseason for the backup quarterback position. And Donnie threw up a nice little analysis for SteelersNow.com, and this was before the preseason in terms of Josh Dobbs versus Mason Rudolph. It included a poll where Twitter just let it fly and made it very, very clear that they are in favor of Mason Rudolph being the Steelers' backup. 78 to 22%, so that's emphatic. He also kind of articulates and Donnie kind of leans there, even though he gives analysis for both men, that Mason Rudolph is more of the pocket passer. He's more of the quintessential quarterback that you have success with the National Football League. And Josh Dobbs maybe is more of that 1 or 2 year burst. He can use the athleticism, but maybe doesn't take you as far long term. So more comforting to have Mason Rudolph as a guy for your future than, say, a Josh Dobbs. But it's clearly between Josh Dobbs and Mason Rudolph. For my money, though, it's clear who should be the backup. And it's also clear what the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers holds. Number one, it's clear as the poll dictated, and as our analysis on Steelers.com or SteelersNow.com leaned, Mason Rudolph's the backup. Now, I know last year Josh Dobbs had regular season time. I know Mason Rudolph did not. I know last year Josh Dobbs maybe had your jaw drop and you were amazed and impressed in that game, I believe, against the Raiders, where Josh Dobbs flashed his athleticism, used his legs, and you were tweeting up a storm. The memes were there. Steelers media and social media, their team, were going crazy when Josh Dobbs got that spotty appearance in place of Ben Roethlisberger. And maybe Ben's going to miss some games, so maybe Tom was going to lean there again just for the fact that he does have the regular season experience. I don't believe so, though. from what we've seen in camp, and it was a clear up-in-the-air competition for the backup role. Tomlin made that clear. And what we've seen in the preseason, where they both have looked good, that's evident. I was there. They both have looked good, but Mason Rudolph went from looking good to having 2 touchdown passes. Josh Dobbs just looking good. Mason Rudolph went from looking good to not turning the football over as often. Josh Dobbs looking good, but having to use his legs to bail him out, avoiding those turnovers and still making some mistakes and turning it over occasionally. But to avoid the turnovers, Josh Dobbs would use his legs, would try to scramble, would be athletic, which, yes, he's more athletic. He has more of that mold, so it makes sense he would cling to that. Mason Rudolph, though, just being more efficient. Being a guy that, like Ben, needs to be more efficient. You want efficiency for your quarterback, especially your backup quarterback, because that's a place you don't want anyone to make any mistakes and try to do too much, since you're going to dumb down the playbook. It's going to be a situation that you're not happy with because you want your guy to be in there. You want the starter to play as often as possible and be playing well. Obviously, they don't want Ben to miss any games, but he's going to miss some time. He's going to miss a game or two. That's what he does, and you got to be ready. But Mason Rudolph appeared to be more poised. He appeared to be more efficient, and he appeared to be more of the guy that if you do lose Ben and when you do lose Ben, Mason Rudolph can go in there. And Mason Rudolph actually has looked good the last couple preseasons, even though he did not get regular season time last year. And it did go to Dobbs, who looked good, but again uses athleticism. And this is a different type of season for the Steelers because as much as the drama is behind us and myself and the rest of the Pittsburgh media, we don't have to worry about Le'Veon Bell's new YouTube channel. That's for the New York Jets and New York Jet media. And I'm imagining, I haven't went over there, but he has more subscribers already than us here at Pittsburgh Sports Live, even though we're doing really, really well for as long as we've been around. But I'm imagining Le'Veon Bell's YouTube channel is probably exploding with buffoons subscribing. And we don't have to worry about Antonio Brown's feet. If I see another one of those, if I see his feet again in a picture, I'm going to lose my mind. It's just disgusting. I don't want to see that. We don't have to worry about Antonio Brown's helmet or what the man's wearing on his head. I don't know what's going on upstairs in terms of in his head. That's probably very, very entertaining, but no one ever will figure that one out. I remember in years past appearing on other people's shows and having them on mine in different outlets and being asked or discussing what's going on in Antonio Brown's head. How should I know? That's insane. The man's crazy. I'm not a therapist. I have no idea. But